Jack Ma, the name was synonymous with success, innovation, and the unbridled ambition of China's economic boom. From humble beginnings as an English teacher, Ma dared to dream of a digitally connected China, a vision that birthed Alibaba, an e-commerce giant that would redefine retail and catapult him to international fame. His journey, an inspiration to millions, embodied the extraordinary growth of China's private sector, a testament to the power of entrepreneurial spirit in an era of unprecedented economic transformation. Ma's charisma and business acumen made him a global icon, a regular speaker at international forums, sharing his insights on technology, globalization, and the future of business. He became the poster boy for China's entrepreneurial spirit, a symbol of the country's growing economic might and its integration into the global economy. His story, however, took an unexpected turn, a dramatic fall from grace that sent shockwaves through China and the global business community. The man who once captivated audiences with his wit and wisdom, who shared stages with world leaders and inspired a generation of entrepreneurs, vanished from the public eye, leaving behind a cloud of speculation and unanswered questions. The world watched in disbelief as the darling of China's tech scene became a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the unpredictable and often unforgiving nature of power dynamics in the world's second-largest economy. Jack Ma's disappearance, sudden and shrouded in mystery, sent ripples of uncertainty through the global business community. The man who once symbolized China's economic rise, who dared to challenge the status quo and disrupt traditional industries, had seemingly fallen out of favor with the very forces that had propelled his ascent. Whispers of government crackdowns and political maneuvering filled the void left by his absence, painting a chilling picture of the precarious position of even the most successful entrepreneurs in China. The implications of Ma's disappearance extended far beyond the fate of one man or even one company. It raised fundamental questions about the future of private enterprise in China, the limits of innovation within a tightly controlled political system, and the delicate balance between economic growth and political stability. The world watched, waiting for answers, as the once celebrated entrepreneur became an enigma, his story a cautionary tale about the complexities of navigating success and ambition in the face of unchecked power. The events surrounding Jack Ma's disappearance serve as a stark reminder that in China, economic success, no matter how extraordinary, does not exist in a vacuum. It is inextricably intertwined with the political landscape, subject to the whims of a powerful state apparatus that views unbridled private sector growth and influence with suspicion. The lines between economic progress and political conformity blur, creating an environment where even the most successful entrepreneurs must tread carefully, lest they find themselves on the wrong side of an invisible line. Born Ma Yun in 1964, Jack Ma grew up in Hangzhou, known for its scenic beauty. Fascinated by English, he formed friendships with foreign tourists. These interactions fueled his curiosity about the world. Despite setbacks, he graduated and became an English teacher. His entrepreneurial spirit led him to start a translation agency. Discovering the internet was a revelation, sparking ideas that would revolutionize China's economy. From an English teacher to an icon, Jack Ma's journey is extraordinary. The year was 1999. The internet was just beginning to make its presence felt in China. Jack Ma saw an opportunity that few others did. He envisioned a digital marketplace connecting Chinese businesses with the world. This vision became the foundation of Alibaba. Gathering 17 friends in his apartment, Ma shared his vision. He spoke with enthusiasm about the power of the internet. His pitch resonated with his small team. Together they embarked on a journey into China's nascent internet industry. The early days were marked by typical startup challenges. With limited resources, Ma and his team persevered. Their strategy focused on empowering small and medium-sized enterprises. This focus set Alibaba apart and resonated with China's private sector. Word of mouth spread quickly, attracting more businesses. Ma's vision attracted customers and investors. As the company grew, so did Ma's profile. His story inspired a generation of entrepreneurs. Alibaba's rise to prominence mirrored the explosive growth of China's internet sector. The company's flagship platform, Taobao, launched in 2003, quickly gained traction as a consumer-to-consumer marketplace, connecting buyers and sellers across China with an unprecedented level of convenience and choice. Alibaba's innovative approach to e-commerce, coupled with its relentless focus on customer experience and technological advancement, propelled its growth, establishing it as a dominant force in China's rapidly expanding digital economy. The company's success was a testament to Ma's vision and leadership, as well as the hard work and dedication of the growing Alibaba team. As Alibaba's influence grew, so did Jack Ma's platform. He became a sought-after speaker at international conferences, his words carrying the weight of his extraordinary success. He was no longer just an entrepreneur, he was a global business icon, a symbol of China's economic miracle. However, Ma's growing influence and outspoken nature would eventually put him on a collision course with the Chinese government, in a country where even the faintest whispers of dissent are often met with. The aftermath of Ma's speech was swift and brutal. Chinese regulators launched investigations into Alibaba, scrutinizing every aspect of its operations. The message was clear: no one, not even Jack Ma, was above the law. The suspension of Ant Group's IPO was a devastating blow. The move sent shockwaves through global financial markets. The Chinese government was determined to reassert its authority. Jack Ma, once celebrated, was now a cautionary tale. The crackdown raised questions about the future of private enterprise in China. The pressure on Jack Ma and Alibaba continued to mount. State media, once eager to celebrate his success, now vilified him as a symbol of corporate greed. Editorials warned of the dangers of powerful private companies, accusing Alibaba of stifling competition and exploiting consumers. The message was clear: Jack Ma had fallen from grace, and the government was determined to make an example of him. In April 2021, Alibaba was hit with a record $2.8 billion fine for violating antitrust laws. The fine was the culmination of a months-long investigation into Alibaba's business practices. Regulators accused Alibaba of abusing its market position to stifle competition. Alibaba pledged to comply with the government's demands, making significant changes to its business model. The crackdown marked a turning point in China's relationship with its tech sector. It signaled a shift towards a more interventionist model, reasserting the Communist Party's authority. The message to entrepreneurs was clear: economic success did not guarantee immunity from political scrutiny. The disappearance of Jack Ma sent a chill through the Chinese tech sector. Entrepreneurs now questioned the limits of ambition in a country where the Communist Party calls the shots. The crackdown on Alibaba reminded that economic power operates within the shadow of political power. The future of China's tech sector now seemed uncertain, shrouded in political risk and regulatory uncertainty. As the crackdown on Alibaba intensified, Jack Ma, the once ubiquitous symbol of China's tech prowess, vanished from public view. His regular appearances at conferences and industry events ceased. His once active social media accounts fell silent. The man who had shared stages with world leaders and graced magazine covers had retreated into the shadows. Ma's disappearance was sudden and conspicuous. Just months earlier, he had been the toast of the global business elite. Now, his absence amplified the message sent by the crackdown on Alibaba. The silence from Ma himself was deafening. Had he been silenced by the government? Was he under house arrest, his movements restricted, or had he chosen to disappear to appease the authorities? The lack of information fueled speculation. Rumors swirled through China's tightly controlled media ecosystem. Some whispered that Ma had fled the country. Others speculated he was negotiating a deal with the authorities. The global business community watched in astonishment. The disappearance of a figure as prominent as Jack Ma was unprecedented. It served as a stark reminder of the opaque nature of power in China. The world waited for any sign of Ma, any clue as to his fate. As weeks turned into months, the void left by Jack Ma's absence continued to reverberate. The lack of information fueled a global guessing game, with theories ranging from house arrest to a deal with authorities. Conspiracy theories flourished on social media, suggesting Ma was targeted for his criticism of the government. The Communist Party's silence created a vacuum filled with anxiety and distrust. The message was clear: in China, even the most successful individuals were not immune from the arbitrary exercise of power. After months of intense speculation and mounting international pressure, Jack Ma finally resurfaced in January 2021. But his reappearance, far from signaling a return to normalcy, only deepened the mystery surrounding his fate. He appeared, not in a public setting surrounded by colleagues and admirers, but in a carefully stage-managed video message broadcast during an online ceremony for rural teachers, a cause he had long championed. Gone was the confident, charismatic figure who had once captivated audiences with his wit and wisdom. In his place was a subdued, almost hesitant figure, his trademark energy replaced by a palpable sense of caution. He spoke of his commitment to education, of his admiration for the dedication of rural teachers, but his words seemed scripted, his delivery lacking the spontaneity and passion that had once been his hallmark. there was no mention of his disappearance, no explanation for his prolonged absence, no acknowledgement of the storm that had engulfed him and his business empire. Ma's muted reappearance did little to quell the speculation surrounding his fate. If anything, it only fueled further questions. Why had he chosen to reappear in such a low-key manner? What were the terms of his re-emergence? Had he struck a deal with the authorities, agreeing to certain conditions in exchange for his freedom? Was he a truly free man, or was he still operating under the watchful eye of the Chinese government, his every move scrutinized, his every word carefully considered? The world watched, puzzled, as Jack Ma, once a symbol of China's entrepreneurial spirit, retreated further into the shadows. Jack Ma's muted reappearance sent a chill through China's tech industry. The message was clear. Even the most successful entrepreneurs were not immune to political power. The once vibrant tech sector seemed to collectively hold its breath. The era of swagger and outspoken ambition had come to an abrupt end. The impact of Ma's disappearance was immediate and profound. Other tech billionaires adopted a noticeably lower profile. Public appearances were scaled back, and social media accounts fell silent. Discretion was the better part of valor in Xi Jinping's China. The Chinese government wasted no time in pressing its advantage. New regulations tightened the government's grip on the tech sector. Data security laws gave regulators sweeping powers to access user data and censor online content. The message to China's tech giants was unmistakable: toe the party line, or face the consequences. The chilling effect of the crackdown extended beyond the boardrooms of China's tech giants. Investors grew increasingly wary of the risks associated with doing business in a country where political considerations trumped economic logic. Venture capital funding slowed to a trickle, as investors sought safer havens for their capital. The Chinese government's efforts to rein in its tech giants cast a long shadow over the future of innovation and entrepreneurship in the world's second-largest economy. The era of unbridled growth in China's tech sector was over. A new era of restraint and political conformity was taking hold. Under Xi Jinping, the Chinese Communist Party asserted its ultimate authority. The crackdown on Jack Ma and Alibaba was a stark warning. Economic success was no guarantee of political immunity. The impact on China's tech sector was profound. Companies now operated with a newfound sense of caution. Section 3. The Global Ripple. The chilling effect of China's crackdown on its tech sector reverberated far beyond its borders. The world watched as China reasserted its authority over its tech industry. China was determined to shape the rules of the game. Western governments saw this as a wake-up call. The crackdown exposed tensions between China's ambitions and its political system. It raised questions about the West's reliance on China's tech giants. The response from Western governments was mixed. The US pursued strategic competition, imposing sanctions. The EU expressed concerns about China's human rights record. The crackdown impacted global investment. Investors grew wary of the risks in China's market. Venture capital funding slowed to a trickle. The climate of uncertainty threatened China's long-term prospects. The innovation dilemma. The crackdown on Jack Ma and China's tech sector raised a critical question: at what cost control? The government's actions curbed tech giants but stifled innovation, creating an environment of fear and uncertainty. Startups now prioritize compliance over creativity, risking China's future as a tech leader. Central to the Chinese government's crackdown on the tech sector was the concept of common prosperity, a policy agenda aimed at addressing income inequality and redistributing wealth more equitably. While the noble goal of achieving greater social equality was laudable, the methods employed to achieve it raised concerns about their impact on economic growth and individual liberty. The pursuit of common prosperity, if not carefully calibrated, risked undermining the very entrepreneurial spirit that had lifted millions of Chinese citizens out of poverty. The government's efforts to curb the excesses of the tech sector, while popular among some segments of the population, sent a chilling message to entrepreneurs and investors alike. The arbitrary nature of the crackdown, the lack of transparency and due process, created an environment of uncertainty and risk aversion that threatened to stifle innovation and investment. The crackdown on private tutoring, while framed as a measure to reduce the burden on students and parents, had the unintended consequence of wiping out an entire industry and putting thousands of teachers out of work. The forced donations from tech billionaires, while presented as acts of philanthropy, smacked of coercion and raised questions about the security of private property rights. The pursuit of common prosperity, while a worthy goal, required a delicate touch. By resorting to heavy-handed interventions and undermining the principles of a market-based economy, the Chinese government risked creating a climate of fear and uncertainty that would ultimately harm the very people it was trying to help. The disappearance of Jack Ma marked a pivotal moment in China's economic trajectory. China faced a choice between greater state control and a more open, dynamic model. One path led to tighter Communist Party dominance. The other path encouraged innovation and entrepreneurship. The choice was not easy. Control promised stability. The party feared chaos. Openness promised economic potential. Innovation could secure China's global position. The world watched with hope and apprehension. The global economy's future hung in the balance. Would China choose control or freedom? The answer would have profound implications. The saga of Jack Ma, from his meteoric rise to his sudden fall from grace, is a tale that continues to captivate and confound the world. It serves as a stark reminder that in China, economic success, no matter how extraordinary, is no guarantee of political immunity. The rules of the game can change quickly and without warning, and those who fail to adapt, who dare to challenge the established order, do so at their peril. As Ma fades further into the background, his story leaves behind a trail of unanswered questions. What were the true motives behind the Chinese government's crackdown on Alibaba and the broader tech sector? Was it simply a matter of reining in the power of tech giants and promoting common prosperity as the official narrative claimed? Or were there deeper, more political motivations at play, a desire to stifle dissent and consolidate the Communist Party's grip on power? And what of Jack Ma himself? Has he truly accepted his fate, retreating into a life of quiet philanthropy and avoiding any actions that might incur the wrath of the Chinese government? Or does he still harbor ambitions of returning to the public stage, of using his wealth and influence to shape the future of China in a way that aligns with his own vision? Only time will tell. The uncertainty surrounding Ma's fate and the broader implications of China's tech crackdown has cast a long shadow over the country's entrepreneurial spirit. The message to China's next generation of innovators and dreamers is clear. Ambition is encouraged, but only within the bounds of what the Communist Party deems acceptable. The saga of Jack Ma is a cautionary tale, but it is also a story of enduring relevance. It speaks to the timeless tension between ambition and power, between individual achievement and authoritarian constraints. It resonates beyond China, holding lessons for entrepreneurs and investors. The future of China's tech sector hinges on balancing control and creativity. The world is watching, eager to see how this tension plays out.